Assalamu alaikum. Today we'll talk about chapter 1, strategic brand communication as the first class for COMM3315. Okay, principle of IMC is basically all communications, one voice. Right, so the key objectives of the topic are: what is the marketing mix and how does it send messages? What is IMC, integrated marketing communication, and how this text will prepare you for your career. Right, the marketing foundation. Now, what does marketing do? So when you talk about IMC or integrated marketing communication, you've got to understand what marketing is all about. So marketing builds brand and customer relationships. So you're talking about the relationships between the customer and the brand or the advertiser or the marketing communicator, right? And this relationship has to be built well. Yeah? Why? Because you have objectives in mind. Now, you're not simply building relationships for the sake of building relationships, but you have objectives in mind, like sales and profits for profit organizations that want to make a profit, and you have objectives such as memberships and donations for non-profit organizations. Okay, so the traditional goals have been to sell, right, in terms of goods, okay, the tangible products, services, the more intangible, ways of providing, right, products. Okay, so hairdressers, banks, services, goods would be cars and tables, chairs, computers, and so forth. Ideas could be values which you want to provide or disseminate or promote to your customers, right, or to your target audience. So you have ideas such as, you ought to pray or respect the elders, right? So things like that are put under ideas. So when you talk about products, you have three types: goods, services, and ideas. So marketing accomplishes its goal by managing the 4Ps. So it manages products, place, pricing, and promotion. So we spoke about the 4Ps earlier, isn't it, right? And how, it should all, or they should all come together and provide a message to others, right? To the target audience in mind, or the target market. So customer relationships must benefit a brand's stakeholders, right? So stakeholders are all individuals and groups who have a stake in the success of a brand. You could have investors in a brand, isn't it, right? You could have different vendors of a brand as well, right? The suppliers of products to a brand, and so forth. Because the thing is, if a brand does well, what happens is it would be making profit, and hence vendors would be, of course, at the having a positive, there will be a positive effect on vendors as well, because then their services, their products would be sought after. So things like that. Investors, of course, want to see profit, isn't it, in your organization? So customer relationships ought to lead to the making of profits. Positive relationships create value for a brand. So what is the value of a brand? What is a brand's worth, isn't it? So this is something which could be given birth to by positive, from positive relationships. So marketing communication mainly involves these marketing communication tools: advertising, PR, public relations, sales promotion, and direct response, right? And others could include events and sponsorships, point of sale or point of purchase. You see all of those shelves, special shelves and posters and other promotional materials in supermarkets, for instance, in Giant, for instance, yeah, and hence, they could encourage you to make impulsive purchases, isn't it? So those are point of sales. Digital media, as you know, and packaging, the packaging of products. And now we're talking about responsible production and consumption. We're talking about sustainability. We're talking about green marketing, right? So packaging has to be not only attractive, but also recyclable, isn't it, right? There's the issue of plastic waste, single-use plastics, and so forth. So things like that have to be looked into. Yeah. All marketing communication messages and brand experiences that create and maintain an integrated brand. Yeah? So you have all of these messages and experiences, and yet you want to focus on providing a more integrated brand image, isn't it? Yeah, a more integrated brand. You don't want these pieces of information and these different experiences to provide contradicting images of a brand, or different images of a brand that do not create that single image. Yeah, so personal experiences that create and maintain a coherent brand image is really important. And of course, spreading word of mouth, making people talk about your brand in a positive way is what you should go for, not in a negative way, right? So what will instill, people, what will encourage people to talk about your brand, to spread word of mouth, yeah? If word of mouth is spread online, then it becomes viral, isn't it? And you want a lot of people to hear, right? Positive words, positive messages of your brand. So you've got to encourage this to happen. Marketing is designed to build brand and customer relationships that generate profits and volunteers and donations. And the challenge is to manage all of the messages delivered by all aspects of marketing communication so that they work together to present the brand in a coherent and consistent way. So all of these marketing communication tools, when you talk about, advertising, PR, sales promotion, direct response, should provide an integrated image of your brand, a consistent way of communication, yeah, of communicating about the brand, your brand. So that is really important so that they, reinforce one another. So what are the most common types of markets? We have consumers, you and me, who purchase consumer goods, isn't it? We need clothes, we need shoes, we need books, we need computers, we need chairs, we need tables, we need sofas. These are consumer goods that we need and we will use in our own household. Business to business, or B2B, okay, you have businesses that buy, yeah, or a business that buys for business use, for its own use. So you have the IIUM purchasing computers for the computer labs, isn't it? You have the IIUM purchasing chairs for its classrooms, yeah. You have the IIUM purchasing desks for the classrooms. So institutional, yeah, markets are there as well, and these are consisting of non-profit organizations like hospitals, museums, and so forth. They are not there to make a profit, right? And that are there basically to get, isn't it, donations or volunteers or whatever it is, yeah, visitors, right? And channel, right? Channel, members of the distribution chain, yeah, resellers, okay, resellers, wholesalers, right? Retailers who are there to carry your products and sell them off to somebody else, isn't it, right? So when you talk about consumers, they depend on consumer promotion. And when you talk about business to business, institutional, channel, yeah, markets, then these are the markets that refer to professional and trade promotion. Yeah, so these trade magazines, for instance, are focused on the different markets that would, be business to business or institutional or channel, right? So these are the different markets. When you talk about the 4 Ps, right, we go back to the 4 Ps, and that is the very basics of marketing. Yeah? There's some scholars that say, oh, it's the 7 Ps. It's not the 4 Ps, but the 4 Ps seem to be a bit more popular in usage. Yeah. Product, you talk about the design, the performance of the product, the quality of the product, right? So, of course, it's related to price. The more expensive a product is, people expect it to perform better, to have better design, to have better quality. So this is where, when you have prestigious brands like Louis Vuitton, Chanel and so forth, they come up with products, then, you pay a huge price, isn't it, for these products. And what happens is they would have, people would expect them to have better design compared to bags that are of at the lower end, isn't it, right? Of lesser brands. So people will expect a lesser brand of car to perform less well as compared to a Mercedes, for instance, and so forth. So the product is an important part, isn't it, of integrated marketing communication. If you wanted to communicate about the product, you've got to know what the product is all about, isn't it? But this is usually at the marketing side things. So when you have, organizations could have corporate comm, for instance, as an office, and then could have marketing as a different office. So the marketing people, the marketing office will come up with, a marketing plan and propose, isn't it? Yeah, marketing communication tools, and then the corporate comm people, or even the marketing communication department, or, would refine these tools and write a full-fledged IMC campaign plan. Right, so communication works to build awareness of a brand, explain how the new product works, and explain how it differs from competitors. So people have to be made aware of the brand, isn't it? Yeah, how the product works. Yeah, you must demonstrate it if it's not clear how it is different from the competitors, because how is it better than its competitors? Something that you have to gauge. Okay, and then you have the marketing mix further described here, yeah, as being the product, price, place, and promotion. And product again, talk about packaging, performance, the branding itself, design and development, place, yeah, the channels of distribution, market coverage, right? How big is the market? Is it regional? Is it international? Is it global? Push-pull factors, right? Are you going to be encouraging, yeah, retailers to promote your products, or are you going to have the pull factor where consumers will be targeted to buy your ads and asked to demand? They will then demand for the products by looking at your ads, yeah. So, or you could have both. Co-op advertising, of course, could be where you provide some kind of monetary incentive. You work together with retailers to provide with advertising. Yeah, it could be monetary, and that would be, something that would encourage them to advertise your product. So it is important to bear in mind that your consumers would have to be addressed, yeah, would have to be communicated to, and hence how would they be communicated to is one thing. So when you have IMC, it would involve all of the different marketing communication tools and others as well that could be used, isn't it, right? So that's how it is, yeah. Right, and then you have price, you have psychological pricing, you have pricing that is, very high, that talks about, that communicates on prestige, and then you have sales, you have price, you have value, you have, the value of the brand and the price. Is the price something of the brand or of the product, something which the customers could relate to in terms of prestige? So this is also something that you want to think about, isn't it, right? Is it a price that they're willing to pay for the quality that they're getting? Yeah. How is the price in comparison to the competitors' way of pricing? So it's also something which you have to realize. Are the competitors selling your product or products similar to yours much lower as compared to what you have priced your product at, right? So that is something which you want to think about. And right, and what happens is you also have brand communication, person selling, advertising, sales promotion, point of purchase, yeah, merchandising. Maybe you will get companies to come up with different merchandise that reflect your brand. Yeah, could be apparel and so forth, clothes that reflect your brand, caps, yeah, and so forth. Right, the product as an element of the marketing mix. The Apple Watch, launched in 2015, has a clean design and is a well-constructed smartwatch with hundreds of apps and the ability to send and receive calls similar to an iPhone. Can you imagine? Something which, a watch is something which we are more familiar with in terms of, giving us the time. But of course, it has gone further, right? And become multifunctional. And this is what is, different and about, of course, the Apple Watch. How does the marketing mix send messages? Pricing based on what the market will bear. What is the market willing to pay for? And competition, yeah? What are the competitors currently selling similar products to yours? How much are they selling them for? The relative value of the product, yeah? Product's value compared to its competitors, right? So what is the value of the product compared to the competitors' products? Is it a high-end product? Is it low-end product? And how do you gauge that? How do you measure that compared to your competitors? Is it similar to whose products? Yeah. Consumers' ability to gauge that value. Can they measure it? Can they see it? Can they, digest that kind of pricing, representing, the value that it should be representing? So the price sends a quality of status message. If it's people expect a more prestigious product to have a more expensive price. Place or distribution includes channels used to make the product accessible to customers, and distribution channel also sends a message. So the marketers may use a push, so the retailers given incentives to promote products. So pull, so the ads direct to consumer to create demand. Yeah, so the ads go direct to consumer to create demand for the. Right, the price is an element of the marketing mix. So the sign for McDonald's highlights its $1 items, and the $1 menu has become a competitive battleground for the fast food category. We have what in Malaysia, mix and match, isn't it? Right, that one is, if you can go for, if you wanted like a burger and a drink without the fries, right? So at below what, 10 ringgit, right? So the thing is, it's a pretty cheap way, and yet it has its high-end products, isn't it? Yeah, McDonald's has, high-end quarter pounder burger meal is more expensive than a double cheeseburger meal, isn't it? Right? So the thing is, it has its high-end um, burgers as well, and it's more budget-like. So it's got a variety of packages and at different prices for different targets, right? So how does the marketing mix send messages? Other functions in the mix, you have personal sales, so you can have face-to-face contact, right? More interpersonal communication, and sales reps can go to offices and homes, demonstrating, selling products. And you can also get the opportunity to collect information about prospective customers who could be interested in your products, right? So how do you do that? You could collect business cards, isn't it? Yeah. You could have people answering a survey. You could have people calling in, because they're interested to know and yet not interested yet to buy your product. You could have customers, referring your brand, right, to others. So that could also generate prospective customers, a list of prospective customers. And that's really important because you do want to reach out to them, isn't it? Because the likelihood of them wanting to purchase your product is there. As you can see, this is a course where communication and purchase and selling all come together, right? So customer service, help for the customer before, during, and after the purchase, right? So you do want, customers to be attended to before the purchase, during, and after. And some companies are very bad at post-purchase services, isn't it? Post-sales services, yeah, very, very bad at this. As though they're only interested in selling them the products, and that's it. They don't really want to have anything to do with them, and that's not a very sustainable way to market, because you do want to maintain a loyal network of customers, because they are cheaper to maintain compared to getting new customers, right? So what is IMC? IMC is the practice of coordinating all brand communication messages and messages from the marketing mix decision. So we spoke about the 4 P's, right? Product, price, place, promotion. So promotion is equivalent to IMC, okay? And what happens is the messages in IMC also not only involve or include the 4 key marketing communication tools discussed just now, but also others, as well as the marketing mix messages, right? So the products, the price, the place, they all provide messages, isn't it, right? It's a high price, and it talks about prestige pricing. So integration means every message is focused and works together, isn't it, right? So you want them all to work together and focus on a particular theme. So all of these different marketing communication tools come together and focus on a theme. Why is this important? Because the sum of its parts is greater than if we were to add the individual parts literally together, isn't it, right? Instead of saying we use advertising, we use sales promotion, we use direct response, we use PR, right? So we're using four different marketing communication tools. But when you use them together, right, as a whole, which means that it goes by a particular theme, then the impact is greater. So 1 plus 1 equals to 3, right? Rather than 1 plus 1 equals to 2. So the whole idea of using them together, reinforcing the same theme together, wherever people go, they will get the theme, the message that your brand intends to give out. Right, so what is brand? Brand is a perception often imbued, isn't it, with emotion that results from experiences with and information about a company, an organization or a line of products. So products carry brands, but so do organizations, right? Organizations also carry brands. Yeah, so you have Petronas as being the product, and you have Petronas as being the organization itself as well, isn't it? Yeah. So what is important is ensuring that the organization also performs well, not only the products per se, but the organization also reflects, something good of value to customers. So you have the hierarchy of brand communication. You have the brand strategy that's outlined in the marketing plan, which is done by the marketing office. Yeah. And then the specific plans are developed for the relevant marketing communication areas. So the marketing office could be proposing marketing communication tools and so forth. But of course, it is the marketing communication or IMC department or office that will, expand on this, isn't it, right? When we talk about the marketing communication plan, it entails the marketing communication areas, isn't it, right? So this is how everything, goes together. When you talk about kids brand and this ad and how it tries to be distinctive, yeah, in terms of selling shoes. So as you can see, you have like a person wearing kids shoes and sitting on a bike, yeah, in a very different way, not in a way that we encourage. I wouldn't think this would be this is an ad that would be encouraged in Malaysia, of course, because of the idea that it could be emulated, yeah, it could be imitated by people, and it's very dangerous. But the whole idea of, it's a different way of sitting on a bike, isn't it? It's a very striking color, yeah, that is worn, yeah, in terms of their trousers. So this is something which is, different and makes it distinctive. So the whole idea is that brands want to make itself distinctive and different, isn't it? Because if not, why would you want to choose this? But different in a good way, not, in a bad way, yeah? How does a brand acquire meaning? A marketing communication delivers meaning-making cues and images to brands, and this perception is called brand meaning, and it's the one aspect of a brand that cannot be copied, yeah? So a brand is a perception that's loaded with emotions and feelings. So we tend to be very emotional when we think about a brand. There are many feelings that come about that are associated with the brand. You may love a brand, you may hate a brand. You would, like a brand because it makes you, sometimes it's a bit hard to describe, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe if you were to wear Adidas, yeah, the Adidas brand, it would make you feel like a cooler person. Yeah? It's just the feeling of appearing trendy, isn't it? Yeah, is there tangible elements such as a trademark or package design? Yeah, so this is something that could be seen and could be touched, right? So yeah, a brand is an integrated perception derived from personal experiences with and messages about the brand. So the logo, the brand name, the colors, and then how you feel about the brand, derived from your experiences of using the brand, would then make the brand. Yeah, so it's an integrated perception, a whole lot. So you have successful brands that are different, right? Different in a good way, distinctive. Yeah, they create an association that makes sense. Subaru Outback, and then you talk about, the whole idea of Subaru, the Subaru, being a more rugged vehicle, isn't it? Yeah, rugged. The whole idea of, associating itself with some kind of rugged image, yeah, in terms of the outback in Australia, the outdoors, yeah, that kind of thing. It could offer a benefit, of course, head and shoulders, right? So it's, getting rid of dandruff from the head and from it falling onto your shoulders. Carrying a heritage, yeah, so reflecting the maker of the brand, like Dr. Scholl's. They're simple to remember and it's not complicated like Nike, yeah. and they're often based on a distinctive graphic, a logo, trademark, character, or other visual cue. So the Coca-Cola brand in the Chinese market, yeah. Although the distinctive logo is known around the world, Coca-Cola's brand name needed to be represented in Chinese characters that had meaning for the Chinese market. So you've got to get the Chinese market to identify, to perceive your brand favorably. So you've got to speak to them in their own language, yeah, for instance. So this is one way in reaching out and in tailor making your messages so that the target market, that is basically the Chinese market, is more familiar with your brand. How does brand transformation work? Brand identity cues are generally the brand name, but they can also be visual symbols. And the logo is similar to a cattle brand that in that it stands for the product source, right? So what is a logo? A logo is a very important element, isn't it? A very important element of a brand, of a cue. It's a very important cue of a brand. And if you talk about branding for cattle, isn't it? Yeah, you see people, farmers, branding their cows, right? And it stands for the product's source. Yeah, where does the product come from, the ownership of the product, right? So this product is from Petronas, this product is from Shell, this product is from BP or something like that. So brand promise, so we talk about brand positioning. Now people will always perceive brands to be sitting in a particular location, in a particular place. When you talk about a shelf, and then it sits in a particular position on the shelf, and it's compared to its competitors, and competitors would perceive a particular product to be bigger or smaller or something like that, yeah. And brand promise, what are the key selling points? Are you going to say that your brand of toothpaste will make your teeth whiter? Your brand of shampoo will lead to no dandruff? The IIUM provides Islamic education. What is it that you promise, isn't it? Yeah. So, make you, the IIUM could make you into an Islamic person. Yeah. So that's the promise it's looking for. So Ivory Soap, brand by Procter and Gamble in 1879, represented a major advancement in branding because of the way its makers built a meaningful brand concept to transform a parity product, or product that has very few distinguishing characteristics, and like soap, yeah. So Ivory Soap is a product which is, what's the difference between one brand of soap compared to another brand of soap? So that is something which is looked upon. So you have milk and bread, yeah, as being other parity products that would be having little distinguishable characteristics. So the brand image is a mental picture or idea about a brand, and it has associations, like it's the brand, associated with, related to luxury, durability, and so forth. Yeah, what are the associations? You do want to communicate about this, and emotions, yeah, feelings of a brand. Yeah, how do people feel about a brand? So this is something that you want to cultivate. You want to have positive emotions and positive associations, obviously. And of course, brands also have, like human personalities, isn't it? Yeah. And something that you also want to communicate. Personal qualities, as it's a fun brand. Swatch is, associated with the whole idea of fun, exciting as well. So when you think about a brand, what kind of human quality or human qualities um, could be associated with that brand? Right, Celestial Seasonings uses a distinctive package here to send messages to consumers about its brand. How distinctive is it? Because it's a very traditional image that it carries, green tea, and then this very traditional Asian image is there, and then you have very distinctive colors, right? So these are the ways in which it creates this distinctive package. So when you go to the supermarket, obviously something like Celestial Seasonings is going to stand out, isn't it, right? Brand value comes in two forms. One is its value to a consumer from the consumer's experiences, and another is its value to the corporation. People think positively of brand, so the higher the brand is valued, yeah, the higher the brand values are like, isn't it? Yeah. So the thing is, you do want to people it for your brand to have a good reputation, for people to think well about the brand, so that you have a higher brand value. And cause marketing, where a brand associates itself with a good cause, so you have target, funding, education, isn't it? Why? Because education is something which its customers feel very deeply about. They really cherish education, and they would like your brand, target departmental stores, isn't it? Because you have associated yourself with something which is dear to them. So you have brand value and brand equity here. You have brand extension, right? And you know, established brand name, yeah, with a related line of products. So it comes out with a new line of products, from coffee to energy drinks. And then co-branding, you can have two separate companies creating a partnership and offering something. Brand licensing, where the brand is rented to a business partner, and the universities rent out brand to apparel makers to make shirts and so forth with the logo of the university. Ingredient branding, where you have products that use the ingredients which are famous as well. And this is highlighted, isn't it, like Intel Inside. So you have IKEA family, right? IKEA family credit card, and it's associating itself with Visa, isn't it? So Intel Inside uses ingredient branding, and you've seen this, isn't it, on several computers. So managers are challenged to prove they're pursuing the most effective marketing strategies, and what did the program cost, and what did it deliver in sales, and how much money have you put into integrated marketing communication campaigns, marketing mix efforts, isn't it? And what it deliver in sales, is it worth it? Relationship building programs shift the strategy from one-time purchase to repeat purchases, a long-term brand loyalty, and this is what you want, because you want people to keep on purchasing your products. The same old customers going to Giant, the same old customers going to IIUM. You want people to then proceed off with the postgraduate program, isn't it? And you want the brand relationship programs to involve all the brand's main or key or critical stakeholders. Word of mouth communication is something that you do want to go by, yeah. You do want to your friends, your family members to spread information about a brand positively, and you do want information about the brand to spread on the internet as well. And you talk about a local brand, yeah, it's marketed in a single country, regional in a particular region, Southeast Asia, yeah, international brand in many different countries, and global brand everywhere in the world. Yeah? So consumers have that power, isn't it? And engage in both sending and receiving messages, and media forms are becoming blurred. So you have, newspapers that are also having, the digital or online versions, isn't it? And they also provide videos, yeah? Star Online provides videos, so you're kind of wondering whether this is television or it's actually a newspaper, or it's, what is it really? Kind of confusing. Watches just now, isn't it? Right? We saw the Apple Watch and how multifunctional it's become. Advertising, PR, and other marketing communication areas are blurring their functions as well, integrating their programs, but yet, there are distinctions that still could be made, and you should be putting the different, marketing communication tools in the rightful places. Yeah? You also have marketing programs, IMC programs, that are becoming socially inclusive, and we talk about, including the disabled, including people of different ethnicities, targeting to people of different nationalities, different ethnicities, brands have also, some of them are more visible than others in terms of having their own stance, isn't it, on political issues and social issues. So, and then there's the question of whether they should do that or not. So this is Benetton in 1992, Benetton ad, and David Kirby was here, yeah, and on his deathbed. He was a gay activist, and he was the victim of AIDS, and somebody painted, yeah, a picture that came out, this picture that came out of Life magazine 2 years before, and then Benetton used the painting, the oil painting, as its ad. So this is, it wants to project the whole idea of, how much people are suffering, isn't it, yeah, as they get AIDS. And this is, an issue which they want to highlight, isn't it, right? Okay, Barbie also builds diversity. You can see so many different types of Barbies, isn't it? Yeah? Different hairstyles, different skin color, different eye colors. There are those that are disabled as well. So many different types of Barbies, yeah? So the thing is, it's embracing that diversity concept. Okay, so that's the end.